Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start. It's like this. So we're going to talk over here about when one of the litigants want to go to a bigger basin or the basin hagadol.
Yeah.
B, we mentioned last time also, if someone asks for the reasoning that they're being judged, right? Okay, so let's go. Shnayim shit asma b'din. Two people are quarreling or bound up in a din. This one says, I want to be judged over here. This one says, I want to go to the best Nagadol. So we force him and we judge him in his city. Yeah, as in general. Let's say he says, give me the reasoning why I'm being judged like this, right? So we give it to him, the reasoning, we write it down, we give it to him. He can look at it, but then we have to take it back from him. And if the Beis themselves feel like they need to ask advice from a bigger Beis, they can go and write it. However, these two litigants need to pay the money that it's going to cost to send something to another city, right? Today we have email, but in those days there was no email. If you want to send something somewhere else, you have to send it by either a messenger or right, something like that. Fine. So if that happens, so then we say that we need to yeah, so you can send it somewhere else, and the two litigants need to pay for it. Okay, Haga. Now comes the Rama. Let's say this is what one Bezdin himself wants to say it, but let's say if the Bezdin wants to send it, however, yeah. We say nevertheless, if there's a closer Bezdin, and it's a reliable Bezdin, we're gonna send it to the closer Bezdin. Our question, why? Because we don't have the power to cause unnecessary losses or to tax unnecessarily to people for no reason. So basically, what we're going to do over here is we're going to send it to the closest basin that we feel is adequate to have the answer. Same thing applies if there's another chacham in that city who is fit to judge. Same thing that we're going to send to that person. So whatever is closer, we're going to have. If there are two chachamim, which are basically the same distance, then we send it after the greater one, right? When do I say this? This is the Rama when basically both when do I say we do this? That we go to the closest place. This is when that basically either A, there's equal opinions. Okay. No school today, so we have an extra guest. No school today. Yes, exactly. So when do I say this? That so meaning what? That we either sent to another place, or right. When do I say this? When both opinions are equal, right? Or let's say the Malva says, let's be judged over here, and the Leva says, let's go to the base in Hagadol. Again, both equal. However, let's say the Malva says, I want to go to the base in Hagadol. Then we have to force the Leva to come with him. And we can't say, do it in your city. Right. Same thing applies is if a Malvin Leva is basically a plaintiff and a defendant, right?
Right.
Let's say the plaintiff and the defendant is not just the lender and a borrower, but let's say the plaintiff and the defendant is, let's say, someone who was damaged, or let's say it was someone that was stolen from. So over here, it's not necessarily is it a borrower and a lender, but it's also a little different. The main idea is that there's someone asking for money and someone who needs to receive that money, right? If in any of these cases the plaintiff, meaning you put back inside. So if in any of these cases, if in any of these cases, though it's okay. The plaintiff, meaning either the one who's damaged and he's asking for money, or the plaintiff could be the one that lended the money. In any of these cases, what we say is the golden rule is that the borrower is a slave to the lender, or the damager is a slave to the damaged, right?
Yeah.
And this is obviously talking about Kishayu Adam, when there's clear proof, proof or testimony that this is the case. Avaltaina Rekanis, but let's say it's going to be an empty claim. So then a mechayim is a nitanus is klal ela nishvam kema benifter. The same thing applies with manazesh ain't based in a gadol. The same thing applies today when there's no based in gadol. They say right that meaning according to him, he was saying that today we only have any more based in a gadol. That's what later on he's going to say, that you should really stay in your city. So in these cases, either we'll be in the city, or if that Basin will ask another Basin, but he doesn't. But because there's no real Basin Agadol, no one can really force the other person to go. Okay. Some people say the Basin Chashav called Avadar if you mashu bukari Basin Agadol. He brings another opinion, and some people say that there are Basin Agadols today. Okay. Then, but this is basically the Rama. Okay, let's go and see if there are any. Yeah. Okay. Let's get 1 second. Let me open up the smell over here. Okay. Okay. We concert there. Rosie, go to Ima and you come back soon, okay? Go to Ima. Go to Ima to this. And come back in 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, you wanna go? Okay. See how long we see how long that lasts for.
Oh, it's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. So let's just check out some smez. A lot of the smez over here are just analyzing what codes from where. But let's go over here. Okay. Okay. So we had a question, right? We said if one of the litigants asked the judges that they want to see the actual rationale, they want to see the actual logic. Okay. So what happens? So we said the basin goes and gives them a piece of paper. On a piece of paper is going to have the rationale. The person can look at it, and the person has to give it back. Right? We said that. So he said like this. On this concept, that basin can go and give it to them. He says, "I am a check up enforce if that the Ramesha Feinstein kind. I'm sorry, no, sorry. The Ramesha Ishalish, which basically the Rama explains. The aid zarch like time in V'ayos schema tinus kulu. V'ay kasav sham chilik din mezav pay. Karaish don't say be irai irek fia. Was that clear? I'm a medium to chicken like they be either time done sunni. I didn't. Yeah. So like us I'm measure put can Kim Sham Bidano Adik Fia. Agav Kasav Sham So basically he said like this. He says the truth is that a Dayan does not have to give his rationale, it's not have to give his reasoning. The only thing is that over here we're talking about that this person is being judged in his city. And as we're going to learn soon, or as we are learning now, that your basin in your city has the total control over you pretty much. Right? When you want to go to another basin, even when the lender wants you to go to another basin, the lender still has to get an okay from the basin that this is a legitimate argument and a legitimate case. If the lender does not get this okay from the basin, he can't go anywhere, right? So what we're saying over here is that because everyone's kind of being forced to go to this basin in this town, and the basin in the town has total jurisdiction over what's happening. So therefore, if someone asks, please, I want to get, I don't trust what's happening in this basin. I know you're forcing me. I don't trust it. I want to see the reasonings for that. If someone says that, we give them the reasonings, right? However, later on, where it said that basin does not give any reasonings, that's because over there it's talking about that it was a basin that they accepted the dayanim on themselves, right? As we spoke about in other places. So if the people accepted the dayanim on themselves, so then they are not entitled to see any of the rationale. Rather, they accepted that whatever the ruling is going to be, they will accept it. Obviously, once people start seeing the rationale of things, it opens up a can of worms, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's like this. Let's say Bezdin needs to ask a question. So the Shema is saying over here that even when the Bezdin needs to go and ask a question of someone else, the litigants can't go and say, "Hey, we don't need to stay here. I don't need to stay here for." The guy doesn't know it himself, right? We don't agree to that. No, even though your basin might have some questions and they need to go and ask advice from another basin, the litigants are not allowed to say, hey, this basin is not adequate for us. We want to go somewhere else. It's not going to work. They have to stay in that basin. Okay. Now, when the ruling comes back, the basin in that area will be the one that administer that ruling to those people. Like let me give know that you fox based on God Alayim as a din the hub in she bali din in. Okay. We spoke about this last week a little bit. Okay. Okay, so here's the big thing over here. Let me just get a little some water, a glass of water. I'm sorry, and then we'll continue. Give me 1 second. I saw Mr. Ruskin happening. I said I gotta get myself some water. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So this is a big thing. The question is like this. So it seems like that the Malva, right? The lender has a lot of power here, right? Meaning, some people say no one can force anyone to go anywhere. However, the Mechaber and the Ramah both say that when can this actually happen? It's when the lender wants to take someone to another place, right? If the lender wants to take someone to another, wants to take the borrower to another basin, and he shows that he has enough witnesses, enough basis to do so, then he's allowed to do that. Okay. So we had a question. We said like this. Fine. We get it. You want to tell us that the borrower, that the borrower is forced to go with the lender wherever the lender wants to take him, right? Mm-hmm. But let's say the lender is going somewhere anyways. He has a business trip, right? He's going to a bigger city. Are we still going to say that the borrower has to go with him? Or are we going to say no? Why would I say no? I would say no because we would say, when do I say the borrower, the lender or the litigant can pull the defendant with him? That's only because he could say, I don't trust this court. I don't trust this judicial body over here. I want to go somewhere else. But let's say he's going there anyways. Maybe we'll say now, no, this is different. This is a different case. Now, the reason why he's taking the borrower with him is not because he had a problem with the court. The reason he's taking the borrower with him because he's going there anyways. Maybe he thinks over there's a better court, but there's no problem with the court over here. Because there's no problem with the court over here, some people say you cannot force the borrower to go with you. Right. So let's see how that plays in the smat, and then we'll look at the shach. Mm-hmm. So let's say right. So the borrower, right? He has to go with him. However, if the malva, let's say the malva was going there anyways, shama, but if the malva was going there anyways, then the lender can say, no, I don't want to go there. I want to stay over here. And we listen to him. That's what the smell wants to say.
Right.
Okay, let's look at the shach.
So if the lender doesn't agree, then the borrower can't go to another din.
If
Based on, yeah,
right,
another court.
no. The borrower is usually forced to go with the lender to wherever the lender wants to take it.
Yes.
Okay. However, this is only if the lender has good reason why he wants to go there. Let's say the lender does not have good reason to go there. Then the borrower cannot. Then the borrower cannot be schlepped or coerced to go to the place where the lender wants to go. So let's look here.
Yeah. Okay.
This that we said that we can force the lender to go with the borrower, right? This is when the malve, the lender, is not going there anyways, right? That's what the Maharik said, and the Smeh said, right? The Smeh said that so basically, only a lender can only force a borrower to come with him to a higher base din if that is the sole reason why they're going to that area of that basin. If there's another reason why he's going to that area, we're going to suspect that there's an alternative motive here, or we're going to suspect that there's no real problem with the basin over here. So, anyways, the Shach doesn't like this. I don't agree with this. I agree. Even if he's going there for a business deal, he can bring the guy with him. Also, the Maharik is not understanding what the Rajba is saying. And this Chuvas Rajba is the Chuvas of the Ramban, which is brought in Sivkat and Zion. V'chein Pirsha Habach, and the Bach similarly agrees with me. V'chilek Maharik, and he's chilek, he argues with the Maharik. Upasak, and he paskins that the malva is allowed to force the leva, even when the malva is going there. Even when the malva is going there and there's no reason for the leva to go there, you can still force him to go there, right? One second. Sorry. Okay, is that clear?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So we see that there's a machlekes between the Shach and the Smeh. The Smeh says that if the lender is going somewhere for another reason, and he wants to bring the borrower with him, the Smeh says you cannot do that. But the Shach says, yes, of course you can do that, right? Wow, beautiful. That's fantastic, Rosie. Okay, I went to see you. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Where is it? Here we go. Let's go through this. Chaim, how are we doing? You following? Okay. In this, we said that we force him to go we force the borrower to go with the lender. So Smeh says what? There's only when the lender is not going there for another reason. The Shach doesn't like that. He's to love because of he writes that there's no real reason to this. And he says, earlier we could have said something like this. If the borrower says, I want to go to a great base, then he can't force the lender. So Azek Kasav the Imam Halach Lav Haki Shama Az Yochel Halei V'Lakefay. So this is the next piece, right? So the Shach says that that before we were saying that when could we where is the one scenario that the borrower can force the lender, right? Different, flipping around. We're saying, here you were asking us a question. Let's say the lender is going to a place anyways. Can you force the borrower? So we had a problem with that. But he's saying, hey, you're mixing two things together. If the lender was going somewhere anyways, and then the borrower realizes, hey, he's going to that area is a great basin. I might as well have my basin over there. So then we can say, okay, you can force him. And similarly, the Bach pasuk da malva yachal lachufa lever afshish lamalva derech sham v'lad lever ein sham. Yeah. And basically based on that, okay. And based on that, the Bach also agreed to that. Yeah. Right? He says a pasuk that the lender is able to force the borrower to come with him, even though that the malva derech sham is going there and the lever is not. Because of Asmer, Tzarchia, my Pisco, the Bishar Didim Shneim to Anam Yeser. And the smes like this. We still need to look a little deeper over here. My Pisco, the Bishar Didim Shneim to Anam Yeser. The I don't know where this is from, but anyway, she says he's bringing over here. He's saying that the Smeh had a question, right? What it meant that by other laws, that both sides have a taina. Basically, what does it mean that in both laws the lender has a stronger position than the borrower? So he explained, what does that mean? That it's only when it's going to be a lender and a borrower are we going to say that the borrower has a stronger position, right? And the same thing is going to apply by Tanis Nizik V'Nigsal. This thing applies by, we said before, damages and stealing. The Fitanasa is Zesh, Connected Hezika, Agaz, the Biadayim, Shumaki, Chairman like Shachel, Allah is a basin, I got the wood in the Khaltavias, Grillis, to get to him. Abla ever Bishar Tvias, gave Zabla Shutun, Shadava Echel, Haveda, Haitzi. Edo Khashu, Tinus, and Nidbuk Shalom. We have Ain Shum Echel, Yachel, Lakria, Shani, the Lake, my basin, I got. Okay. So basically, he's saying like this. He's saying all this that we're saying now, that the lender can force the borrower to come with him to different places. This is going to be specifically when you have the roles of a lender, you have the roles of a borrower, or you very strongly have two sides that one side is really extracting money from the other side. Let's say you have a partnership that's breaking up, right? So if you're going to have a partnership that's breaking up, then this is not the case. One cannot force the other one then the litigant and defender are on the same thing. This is what Mechaber was saying when he wrote, when do I say this? B'shar dinim shezatayim v'zatayim. Aha. That in those cases we listen to the Malva, in the next. So he's basically interesting. He's explaining over here. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So he's explaining over here a little that this idea that that someone can force the other side to come to a greater basin. This only applies when it's a clear difference between the litigant and the defendant, and the litigant has a very strong position against the defendant. However, as you said before, let's say it's going to be a partnership that's breaking down. So then one side cannot force the other side to go anywhere because there's no real strong force. So he's saying this is also a little bit of what the Rama is saying over here. He said, he's saying that when we say you can't force anyone to go anywhere, this is when zet time is zet time, meaning it's equal, right? What does it mean it's equal? So he says maybe it's a case of a splitting of a basin, a splitting of a partnership. Okay. I want to look at one more thing. How much time? What time is it? Okay, we have a little more time. A few more minutes. Wanted to check up. Yeah, there's interesting Pesach Tshuva over here. 1 second. Okay, I see the Pesach Tshuva. Okay. So very interesting. This is an interesting case over here. So we were saying in the beginning, right, that that someone can ask from the basis to give them the rationale, right?
Yeah.
So our question is, when can someone ask from the basis to give them the rationale? So we have an interesting Pesach Tshuva over here. She's like this. Kasav a sefer. I don't know what the sefer this is. Maybe it's I don't know. Did you spell it over here? I don't know which sefer it is. Okay, fine. Anyways, he says the sefer. Reuven, he says, what would be a case that you can ask based on for the rationale? He says, Reuven and Shimon amdu l'din. Reuven and Shimon are standing for a din, right? Just add it over here so we have it for the sheet. Yeah, Reuven and Shimon are standing for din. And the dayan obligated Reuven to swear, to swear on a certain claim of Shimon on Reuven. Betan Reuven sheyichtad le'adayin psachtin eichu chayev shvua, and then I'll swear. So Reuven says, "Okay, dayan, Mr. Judge, I want you to tell me why I don't need to swear. I don't know why I need to swear." And he doesn't want to swear. So the dayan should write down what is the dayan's rationale why this person needs to swear. And afterwards, Yeshava, he could swear. Hadin im Reuven. So then the din will be with Reuven, that will give Reuven the rationale. He'll look at it. He'll give it back. And then I'll swear. This what means we say he'll write it and then we take it away from him. Whatever. Yeah. And obviously over here we're talking about, as we just learned right now, right, that this is a case that Reuven is not being forced. This is a case that Reuven is being forced into the case. Because if Reuven was not being forced into this case, it would be a different situation. First of all, I think usually if you're not forced into the case, usually there's some sort of a kinyan there anyways. So there's a kinyan there anyways. So then you can't start asking the rationale if you already made a kin, you're going to accept whatever the rabbi is going to say. It's only in this situation that you're being forced to come to this basin and you're being forced to take a shua. Are we going to say that the gentleman can ask the dayan for a rationale as to why he's making him swear? The rest here are for the next pieces. Okay, I think the ksas. Should we try to hit a ksas before we roll? What do you think, Chaim? Should we try to do one more thing? You're mute.
Sure, yeah.
Let's try it. Okay. Ksas are usually a little hard, but let's try it. I feel like it's a small item over here.
Who's this now? The
This is the ksas acheshim.
right.
Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Okay. If we get stuck, we get stuck, but it's always good to try a new thing, you know? Okay. So the Smeh says, right, that that when can the lender force the borrower when the lender is yes. You need water? Y'all are dressed up. Y'all are dressed up. Okay, here a little water, and then I have to finish one more thing. Okay.
I need to go up.
Okay, hold on. Begin to Iman. I'll ask you what you think. Okay. Okay, let's try. This is the Ma'arik Sheisai, right? So first we said that when can the Malva force the Leva? When the Malva is not going to that place with right anyways. No, I'm sorry. He says a Leva. That doesn't make any sense. One second. Yeah, this is a spelling mistake over here. Okay. So one of the small spelling mistakes in Faria. Let me fix it. Am I able to fix it? Get to fix it, but this is a spelling mistake. Yeah. So when the lender is not going there anyways, that is when we say that the lender can force the borrower to come with them, right? We said that. The Shach writes, the Shach doesn't agree with this. No. It makes no difference why the guy is going there. You can always force him to come with him. And it seems like based on the Mordechai, I feel the benigzal that makes that we can always force someone to the other side, meaning the borrower or the damager. You can always force them to come with you. Read over here. Yeah. Why? Okay, fine. So yeah, this is what he says. Because I'm reading over here. It's just better print, and there's less spelling mistakes. He says because since the litigant is not taking out the money for no reason, אבל הנצבע אין שם בזה לפי דמה שהוא רצה לפזר מהיסב הוא להרם כדי שלא ישבענו המל ועין שם. Interesting. So he says, first of all, that the reason why the Shach says that the Malva can always go and bring the leva with him, that the litigant can always go and bring the defender with him, is because the litigant is always putting out money. He's putting down money to make this thing happen, right? And the money that he's putting down, he will not be getting it back from the opposite side. So since we feel this guy is actually putting down real money to make this thing happen, we're going to, even if there are side reasons of what's happening here. For example, he's going to another city for business. The fact that he's actually paying an expense for all this, we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah?
Yeah.
If someone made לא לכן המציא היצויש, ואין לו לשמע על תביעה, אלא היכן שהנראים שהמציא היצויש על תבוסי, וזה אפשר לימוד לגבי מעל ובליבה, שם שעס תימה דמציא לחייף. Therefore, we could say, and that's why we say, based on, he, in a way, he's explaining the Shach, right? Why is the Shach allowing the lender to bring a borrower with him if the lender is going to this place anyways? Obviously, it's not a positive reason, because the answer is no. He's putting down money. When someone puts down money, we believe him. When someone has someone has expenses because of this transaction, we're going to believe him. And based on this, therefore, by a lender and a borrower, that the Gemara told us that the borrower is a slave to the lender. And this concept that the borrower is a slave to the lender is applicable in all cases. Whoever asks questions, oh. So basically, he said like this. He says that there seems to be two rationales, okay, as to why the borrower can bring the lender with him. A is that the lender is a slave to the borrower. B is that the second explanation that was brought down. It's based on the Riva, right? Riva says that as long as someone's paying money, we listen to him. And basically, the Ksasa Choshen is saying, why do I need both these rationales, right? And so the reason is because you have two different scenarios. Sometimes the guy's not paying any money to bring him out there. The guy's not paying any money to bring him out there, or the guy's not spending any money. So why should the lender force the borrower to come with him? So then I would say, because we say that the borrower is a slave to the lender. Yeah. And sometimes I'm saying, hey, the guy's going out to this far place. Why would I say the borrower is a slave to the lender if he's going out to this far place? And I was saying, okay, if that's the situation, that's because he's paying money. If he's paying money, so it's not anymore a fact of I'm forcing you to come out there. Is now you have a certain monish, we have a certain belief in what you're doing, is not just because you want to cause problems and hurt the borrower, but rather because you want to make sure that you have a sound case and a justifiable case. This is I guess a typical sus that he kind of like gives a lot of the logical reasons on the background of what's happening here.
Yeah.
Okay, Shkach, thank you for coming up with me today.
Right, shkoyach.
Thank
I
you.
hope,
Shkoyach.
I hope it was clear,
Getting clear.
getting clear.
Slowly getting there. Yeah.
Okay, but that's
Needs
again.
more practice. I didn't prepare much this week, so I've come in a bit green. So because
Okay,
we're away,
okay.
and
That's okay. We all
I have to catch up a bit.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
All right, I'll
bit
see you
more
all. Have a
preparation.
wonderful week. Hatzlacha.
Yeah,
And
we'll try to get some more people in somehow.
Amen. Okay, thank
Schlep
you.
some more in.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
All right, shkoyach. Have a great week. Feel good.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Have a good week.